This is another episode of the Flight Ringers podcast. I'm David King. That's Dan Spottswood.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
We are professional cartoonists, and we are Legion of Superheroes experts.
Did you know Landerin did a series a couple years ago using some like Mobius characters called the Final Inkle? Incal? I-N-C-A-L? How would you say that? Dude, it looks so good. And I was looking at it. I was like going back and forth between that and the issue 10 of Legion. And the color looks really ghastly, at least online. It doesn't look as bad on paper. I was just thinking like it would have been so cool. Like I'm not usually for recoloring, but it'd be kind of cool to see like the 5 years later stuff with kind of that heavy metal style of coloring.
Oh, like if it was like painted color almost?
Right. I just like when I was looking through the issue, like I think some of those coloring choices, maybe that guy is just not a very good colorist, but I don't feel like it does Giffen justice sometimes. He opts for tan and brown an awful lot, and and then he throws like pastels on everybody. Well, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like this teal, like it's all what do they call it? Is that secondary colors, or it's all muted purple and teal and brown and muck green.
This cover isn't so bad, but especially in some of these, like you really need, I don't know, good coloring to delineate some of to distinguish what's going on in some of Giffen's panels, and I don't know that this guy's super good at that.
I think it's even maybe messed up somehow.
Yeah.
Like you said, like you look at it in print and the website one looks super crappy.
Right.
Like it may just be the first couple pages is like the magenta is really washed out or something. And like these
everything
guys
looks
look
kind of pink.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, but on the page 2, they're yellow.
Right.
But then there's some like shadows that obviously has the magenta in it that's too dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so something just got tuned up the wrong way.
Right.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I don't know if if I wouldn't say I want it to look like
heavy metal
ranks or rocks or whatever, like that's kind of overboard for this kind of drawing, I guess.
Yeah. I wouldn't like if all the Legion stuff looked like that, but I feel like this era seems to be maybe inspired a little by that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a move more towards that kind of Star Wars kind of future where everything looks dirty and people are just wearing like round leather jackets and shit as opposed to tights.
But like we've talked about how much they look like Wrath of Khan type of Star Trek.
Yeah, those were the middle Star Trek movies where they kind of like break off from the Federation, have that feel too. When they're dressed more casually and they're in like an old torn up Klingon ship. Yeah,
like there's one of them, I think it must be Star Trek 4 where like Mr. Sulu's wearing this like pleather suit with like it doesn't have lapels but has a deep V-neck and he's got like a green shirt underneath it and it's like, oh yeah, this is just what these guys are wearing,
Yeah. And I think that stuff was probably a little inspired by Star Wars as well. Star Wars was so popular at the time.
I was just looking, like the reason I have number 7 out is because I was comparing it. This one, I don't think is printed on Baxter paper.
Oh.
And I think that might be part of the color problem. Like, maybe you can't tell. You can see how you can see through the paper a little bit to the other side. Mm-hmm. Like this comic book is only about 2/3 as thick as issue 7 that I have as an example. And it's like way lighter.
Those fuckers.
Yeah, they totally stole our money. And like you can see how the black isn't black enough in a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not overprinted the same way or something. So they just went ahead and did, oh no, it looks different. It looks different and it totally feels different. It's not the same paper. It's like, maybe it's Mando.
I think later in the series, it is newsprint, isn't it? Like when you get closer to like 0 Hour.
I think like actual Baxter paper that we think of as like the new hit comic book innovation of 1983 I think they stop using that shit. I think it either stops being a thing or it gets too expensive and they stop using it or whatever. Because nothing is like that. Like the price stays the same, but the paper is the same across the board and less than Baxter paper.
Right.
But I mean, I haven't looked to see if issue 11 picks it up again with the good paper or not.
Somewhere down the line, they started using in basically all the books. Well, first I remember like in maybe the mid 90s, like everything was on the crappy magazine paper. But then DC at least kind of switched back to, it felt kind of like newsprint, but it was whiter and it doesn't seem to yellow the way old newsprint did. And I think they still kind of use that paper.
That kind of could be what this is. Mm-hmm. Because I kind of was like, this seems like newsprint. Right. Almost. Like it's the same kind of gray, you know? Mm-hmm. This issue specifically, like it's sort of brown around the edges, but not too bad.
Yeah.
But it's not the warm color that Baxter paper is. My lighting is kind of oddball here, so yeah, you can maybe see the difference, right?
Yeah.
This is just a little bit warmer.
I don't know if this you can't really tell, but this is issue 45 here. I just grabbed it random, and it's this is more like newsprint. This is not the stuff the early issues was on. The colors kind of blend better, and it's definitely thinner.
Yeah. It's probably the same as this issue. Maybe from now on it won't be Baxter anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're just like on a march downhill in every quality metric you can think of.
That could be. It looks like issue 19. Looks like it's on this kind of paper too, but I don't know. Like that, I am nostalgic for the look and feel of that Baxter stuff, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people knew how to color on it very well.
Yeah.
They seem to know what they're doing with regular paper, I think.
Yeah, you might be right. And they didn't use it for a big enough window for anybody to really yeah. I mean, I don't know what they were doing.
There were a few guys here and there who used it well, but oh yeah. It just, I remember like George Perez is doing that whole thing and it switches to that and it just looks like shit. And it's like still George Perez. What's going on?
Oh, really? Like the Baxter New Teen Titans doesn't look good?
It doesn't look as good. Like I said, everything is just, I don't know, it's like the colors don't blend or something. Everything's very like too solid.
Right. Yeah, so like for you, I don't know, there's something aesthetically pleasing in like the blur of whatever they call it, dot gain and ink bleeding. And
maybe so.
Just like kind of how everything gets softened up on toilet paper when it gets printed on there.
Well, I don't feel like comic book colors clash as badly up against one another on newsprint for some reason. Maybe it's like how they always tell you to put a little yellow on top.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe the paper's doing that for it. I don't know.
Yeah, it must be. But you also, on newsprint, you still get this kind of effect where, well, they registered it pretty good here, but like on this last panel of the comic, the credits box, like I showed you a second ago, where you can see the blue, you know, and this red is all splotchy.
Yeah, right. And then sometimes they just drop like a 100% black, but no. None of the other plates, and it actually looks kind of gray.
Yeah.
If you don't mix the other colors in.
Yeah, that's what this looks like.
Yeah.
And that you would also always see that in old comic books, like like that's what, you know, like in those Jim Rugg comics, like the Aphrodisiac, you know, where he simulates that, and you can see.
Still can't believe they did that. I believe Chris Spitzer thought that was a good idea. Good name, good title.
Yeah, it's a good pun.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. This is what I've been doing all night.
Is that a bong? Oh, a Pinewood Derby car?
Yeah. I was helping my son with this.
Like you've been doing it. Did you do the whole thing?
No, his grandpa did a bunch of it too. He did all the like real stuff, the man stuff. He like figured out how to sand it down or cut it to the right shape.
Yeah.
But I helped them paint it.
Yeah, my dad never helped me with those. Like he always
mine didn't either.
Was cheating or something to do that. So I was like just kind of on my own. Like I was a step away from the kid who just like took the block and put the wheels on it. Mine could be a little bit better than that. But then there's these other kids who like, did this sweet paint job and a crazy shape because dad had a bandsaw and a sander and stuff.
It'll hopefully change as he gets a little older and he'll do more of it. But I mean, his is probably going to be the crudest looking one there. Like the ones we see, there's like no way a kid made them, and they look like they've done some sort of. They've looked up some diagrams online and figured out some way to hollow it out, and just very, very elaborate aerodynamic designs.
I think I knew that. Like you could take your drill and put in some like lead fishing weights or whatever to try and weigh it down.
Yeah,
but that's about the best I could do.
Yeah, but this has weights in it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I bet there's a billion YouTube videos about how to do those. So.
Yeah, my son's already excited about that. There's another Godzilla, King Kong movie.
Well, that Godzilla -1 is supposed to be really good. I didn't see it. Did you?
I haven't seen it. I've heard good things, but I think my son is more into and I am too, really, the campy, more superhero-ish kind of interpretations of those guys. And it seems like they're starting to move towards that with the modern movies.
Yeah, the American ones have been okay. Like I tried to watch it. There's like a TV series. It must be on Apple that has like Kurt Russell in it. That's like a spin-off of those movies. I totally I don't know. We watched one of them and it was like
too bad.
Just shut up. Like, where's the monsters? It was like people arguing for 90% of it. I'm like, and Kurt Russell wasn't even in the first episode.
Does it like cut to them and then they look up and then it cuts to some like stock
kind of like they had a flashback to one of the movies? Like, like there's some there's a Japanese guy in the movies who's like one of the main people, but like he's a Japanese like movie star, from Japan.
Okay. And, like in real life, you mean?
Yeah.
His character is okay.
It's so they can make him top billing when they play it in Japan or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the characters in the show were like his kids, but it was like some kind of soap opera shit where he had two families and they finally meet each other in the show. And it was like, come on. It was just getting really tedious.
So this guy had two families?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But it was going to be 10 episodes, and I didn't finish one. I don't think. I thought it'd be cool. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a TV series like those movies. But
what are they going to do when all these guys get too old to keep recycling shit? Like, eventually they'll do like a Tango and Cash 2, and those guys are like 80 years old. Pretty soon all those guys will be dead. I guess maybe they could make CGI versions of 80s, 90s guys.
I think they must be over that hump by now, right?
I guess.
Like they're going to do like Superbad 2, where those guys are in their 50s, and that's what they'll have to do.
But at some point you hit the period where at least half the stuff being put out is a remake in of itself. So what happens when you get to the point when there's no... Like right now, there's hardly anything new coming out that they could bring back in 30 years.
Yeah.
So what do they do then?
I don't know. Everything's franchise. It's just going to be Jurassic Park 7, with Chris Pratt's kid and whoever,
It's weird. It's baby. Like this remake shit is like infected everything. Like comic books have been doing it for a while now, obviously, but and movies, but like even video games, like all the games my kid plays, they're instead of making new game, they do like Super Mario Brothers again, but with better graphics. Like they call them remastered or whatever.
It's just because it's too much of a risk for anybody to try something new. It's so lame.
Right.
Like I guess it's because there's just no money going around for anybody, even rich movie producers and stuff.
Right. Like the Transformers toys are like that. They make them still, of course, but they don't come up with new guys anymore. They like re-engineer the ones from the beginning of the series, like Optimus Prime and all that. They're like, we can do it better this time, just like the movies are like, we'll do it again, but with better special effects.
It's so weird that a toy can't even take the plunge on It's because it's got to tie into the movies and the cartoons and stuff.
Right. It's all going to be safe and proven popular.
Remember the G.I. Joe figures? Like there was a billion of those guys, and like most of them were never on the cartoon, you know?
Right.
Or probably not even in the comics, like those guys with like weird like hypercolor camouflage pattern and shit on them.
Well, they were in there, but Larry Hama would bring them in just to kill them.
Oh, really?
Like, he didn't want to mess with any of that stuff. He thought it was dumb, but he wanted there to be stakes. So he'd bring in all those guys just so he could kill them.
That would be a bummer. I kind of feel like when I was a kid and we played, like if one of them got killed in a movie or something, like my brother.
When did that ever happen?
Well, what am I thinking about? Maybe it's just when we were playing, I guess. That's probably what it was. Like my brother would be like, all right, if he gets killed, you can't play with him anymore. You know, like he's playing some mind game with me. Like, come on. What?
He's a zombie now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, let's get this shit started.
All right.
Roxxas Strikes.
Roxxas Strikes. Legion of Superheroes number 10. We did it. We got through 9 of these.
Yeah. We're going so fast. Like, let's see, there's 60 issues of this. That's like one a month if we
it never happens
aren't sick or whatever, but right. But then there's all those Legionnaire issues, and then the Dan Jurgens stuff.
Jurgens stuff.
Yeah, we got to do that, don't we? It's in the omnibus where the moon blows up. I love that omnibus. It's really cool. It's a totally different experience, like being able to just kind of randomly flip 40, 50, 100 pages.
Oh.
Just catch little glimpses.
Yeah.
It's like something you really can't do with anything else. You can sort of do that with a book, but then you have to like read a paragraph, figure out where you are or whatever. You can just sort of glance at it, and you can't really do that easily with film. It's like you can kind of speed read or something and just catch little...
Yeah.
And you learn to do it hanging out in 7-Elevens, where you have to learn to read these real quick before the guy kicks you out. Didn't you do that? Like you hit the spinner rack, and maybe you got an issue or two, but you wanted to know what was going on in all of them, so you're just like flipping through them all real fast.
I never did that. I was taught to be very respectful towards the shopkeepers. That's stealing.
Stealing intellectual property.
There are people who worked very hard to produce that, and you're taking the food out of their babies' mouths by
I know it.
Flipping through a comic book without buying it. Actually, I never went to a 7-Eleven. We eventually started going to a comic shop, but yeah, once I chose the ones I was going to buy all the time, I never really looked at the other ones too much, I guess.
You didn't ever see them at like grocery stores or convenience stores?
I think it was really seldom that I did.
Wow. Well, how do you even end up at a comic shop?
My mom found one in the phone book.
Oh, okay.
Like we started buying them at it was like a newsstand place.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I mean.
But I think they didn't have very much. Like they just carried like Superman and Batman, action and detective type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My mom must have seen that my brother and I were like excited and into this. And so she found a comic book shop and we started going there.
Yeah.
And then, never looked back, never went back to that. It was on a different part of town, like the newsstand thing.
Oh, okay.
It was a neat place. We always liked it, but.
I mean, my dad was into like underground comics and newspaper strips, so he already knew about Clint's and went there from time to time. Plus, they had dirty magazines, of course. Mm-hmm. But he started taking me after I took an interest from seeing like the superhero comics, the gas station or whatever, and it was still easier to, I could be at a Quick Trip every single day, like right down the street from me, as opposed to across town.
Yeah,
it was always nice too, because if you missed an issue. Like it was already a back issue. It was already bagged up and marked up $1 or $2 more. It was still in the gas stations the next month. Like they had a jump on non-comic shops.
Right.
Like by a few weeks.
Yeah, I think I remember or I discovered that as a kid too. Since I lived kind of out in the country, I was never at a convenience store. Mm-hmm. And my parents were such cheapskates. I never really went inside a convenience store for a long time.
Didn't you had like general stores, right?
General stores?
Is that what they're called?
This is like the Old West.
Out in the sticks. Like they'd have like a place. Where you get your fertilizer.
Yeah, if I asked for a comic, it took 3 months to get there because I had to order it from New York City. No, we just found the comic shop and started going there. We would go there either before or after violin lessons on whatever it was, Wednesday or Thursday night.
The Suzuki method?
That's right.
I had to do that shit too. You stuck with it longer though, it sounds like.
Yeah, I did it for a long time.
You're still doing it, right?
I wish.
In your robe with your pipe.
My Sherlock Holmes cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish I could still do it. I think I might be a good violinist if I were to take it up now.
Why don't you just do it? Fuck it. Do it.
It's just not enough hours in the day. Life is not long enough.
Love it. She'd love hearing you. When you tried to get back into it. Well, it would come back to you probably faster than like if I had done it or someone who never really played. I mean, I played for a second, but
yeah, I mean, I played for a long time. I played through high school, you know? Like I wasn't really learning anything.
You really were a nerd.
Yeah, I was.
You can't even be in like marching band with that shit. At least those guys got to go to the football game and stuff.
No, I was playing sax too. I played in the marching band for a year.
Whoa. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
You played 2 instruments in high school?
No. I played, I think, how
5.
did it work? Yeah, I played drums. I think I was in the band in junior high and for like 1 year of high school.
And then you went back to violin?
Yeah, I think I must have done, I was only in high school for 3 years.
What? Did you drop out?
No, it was a 3-year high school. It was 10, 11, and 12 was my high school.
Oh, that's right. You're out in the sticks.
Yeah.
You went to like junior high?
That's right. In junior high, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I was in the band playing the saxophone. And I think prior to that, I did like the after school type of thing. No, that was orchestra. I must have done both for a little bit. But in high school, I think I did it for just I think I did it for 2 years. I think I did it for junior and senior year of high school playing violin.
Weird.
Yeah.
So you never stopped or you went back to it?
No, I was always taking private lessons for violin. But then I didn't always play it at school.
Your parents must have thought you were going to be so successful and smart. They're like, we'll have him learn. He's doing 2 instruments. He's going to be a genius.
I think they knew I was a genius. I don't think it had anything to do with that, but musical instrument shit. Because I was never very ambitious with that.
They must have been so disappointed.
I mean, I bet they were surprised that I was willing to stick it out. But I think I just felt like have always had these weird obligation feelings, you know? So I just did it because I thought I was supposed to and because...
kind of like this.
Yeah. And there was one time when, like, I thought I would be able to have the choice to quit, you know? Mm-hmm. But I was like, Mom, I don't want to do after-school orchestra now. And she's like, well, I already paid for it. And so I had to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it just, like, it never stopped. Like, I think I felt like it was a big thing. Like, I still remember it now. Like, that feeling. Like, well, fuck, I don't want to do it. I have to do it. She's going to make me do it, you know? And so, like, I think that kind of did some kind of psychology shit to me of, like, feeling obligated to do things. Mm-hmm. And being obligated to respect the shopkeeper and not steal his magazines and shit like that.
Who's stealing his magazines?
It's sort of the same thing. No, nobody ever actually told me about that. But I think that's sort of why I stuck with it so long, is just because I thought my mom wanted me to really badly or something, you know?
I think maybe that's good overall. Unless you're like out of obligation doing, well...
Like letting them beat me.
Being married to someone you hate or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I would stick it out for something like that anymore.
Right.
Like I've kind of learned it in adulthood that I don't have to be obligated to any fucking thing, you know? Like I never
that's
actually
why you keep making comics.
That's
like, I hate these fucking comics. Why am I still doing
it? That's why I don't make very many. It's like, no, I don't really want to do
this. You've broken free.
Yeah. Like I'm totally, now that I'm under the thumb out from under the thumb of people.
I think all the TED Talks say this is they call it grit.
You know, is it really?
It's been rebranded into grit.
Wait, the feeling obligated to your mother shit? That sounds messed up.
Complete things.
Yeah.
Well, that's how all that stuff works. Like they take really just old common wisdom and they rebrand it. They give it a new name.
Yeah.
And act like it's a new concept.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point in my life, I'm a huge proponent of just never doing like optional shit. Just never doing it. If you don't want to do it, just don't do it. Just say no to doing that.
Right.
Like other people, it's like, no, we have to go to such and such thing, even though I hate the host of the party or whatever. It's like, don't fucking go, you know?
I mean, that's the way I kind of am all the time, but then I kind of end up regretting it later. Like, I didn't do anything. What have I been doing the last 10 years? I never left the house. I never went anywhere.
Yeah, you do run into that. But I mean, you know, within reason, it's like, no, like I have no, you know, I don't have any obligation to.
I don't have any friends anymore.
This or that. But no, if it's like a thing, like it's one thing to be like, you know, Dan invited me to hang out with him, and I just said no because I would rather sleep late or something.
Right.
Like there's that, but then there's also like, oh, my ex-boss who I never liked invited me to the Christmas party at his house, and I should go. Like, no, you shouldn't go. You hated him. You don't want to be at his house. Right. Like, why would you do that, you know?
Unless it's part of some elaborate revenge scheme.
Yeah, but see, like, I'm not going to do that either. Like,
I'm too lazy for that.
Right, like, I don't really care.
Okay, back to the comic. I'm sorry. I'm sure it was my fault, but...
No, I think it was mine that time. So this cover of this one, it says Roxxas Strikes. It's in this kind of old-fashioned lettering style. Like, the Strikes part is kind of Action Comics looking. And the Roxxas is like, I don't know, it's all ragged, like monster movie lettering or something.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. I didn't even realize where they were supposed to be on this cover until, like, I'd read the comic, and then I was thinking about this place. They're all on the plantation. And
the P word.
Yeah. It's Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad are now, they're Monsanto of the 30th century.
Where you have to walk around naked.
Yeah, nude Monsanto. But this is the like grain silo, right? These purple, it looks like a serpent or something, or a couch cushions.
Livestock.
No,
these purple livestock.
These are big grain sacks, and this sandy stuff is actual grain. But to me, it kind of looks like somebody unstuffed a bunch of pillows, and he's laying on that.
Now, do you think it's just to make it look more alien that it's purple and the grain is green, or the colors doesn't know what Giffen is doing?
I would put my money on that
right.
Didn't get the memo that these are grain sacks, or like, how the hell do you make grain sacks and grain look exciting enough on a comic book cover? You know what I mean? It's like, those are going to be tan and these are going to be brown. Oh, okay. And those sort of are like Tom McGraw's favorite two colors in this comic, but I don't know. They look like couch cushions on an ugly couch. But the subject of the cover art is it's kind of like Lightning Lord, the former Lightning Lord Mectrans. He's all beat up in the foreground, and Roxxas is walking away to do more killing, more striking. He's striking.
Right. Is he smashing through a wall there, or is that all just cloud?
I think it's all smoke.
Okay.
Like it ties into this story.
It seems like, to me, it reads like he's heading towards like the inner sanctum where they are safe, and like Lightning Lord was like one of the guards in a way, like trying to protect his family or whatever, and he's down and he's getting closer to the kids or whatever.
Yeah. Mech is sort of the first line of defense, or the first blood.
Right.
But really, it looks to me like Roxxas is walking into the tire store to buy a new set of tires.
Oh, right. I see the tires now.
Remember Arachnophobia? Did you like that? I remember it being kind of a fun movie, kind of a horror comedy.
I keep meaning to show that to my son. I don't know if I ever watched it all the way through, but I remember it being on TV all the time. My brothers loved it.
It's kind of it's like Spielberg produced it, you know, like
Emblem Entertainment.
Yeah, I can't really read the credits.
Was the guy from Cheers in that?
No, it's
like Norm. No,
you know, you're thinking of. Norm might have been in it. There's another movie where Cliff plays like an exterminator. I think in House 2 or something. It's Cliff as an exterminator. This has John Goodman as an exterminator.
Okay.
But it might have Norm in it. I don't remember. It's Jeff Daniels, John Goodman, and I don't remember anybody else. But yeah, anyway. But this issue starts out with it's a silly issue, in my opinion.
Yes. There's some really grim stuff in it, but yeah, it's kind of goes back, it swings back and forth.
It kind of is all played for like violent laughs, like this kind of I don't know, edgelord, Quentin Tarantino type of funny violence almost.
Right.
But just the silly stuff. It starts out at the Claudette Circle Motor Lodge, like a motel. Roxxas is in disguise, and he's trying to get into the motel, and they have this whole bit with this like old-fashioned 40s hotel clerk. Just a lot of silly business between these guys.
Right. There's lots of what are all the wings named after different legionnaires, and there's like a clothing optional area. Yeah. And I feel like he is the reader, at least he's me in this page, because he's like, God, do I really have to like see legionnaires naked? That's my biggest complaint with this run. Like, it just seems so irrelevant to the story. I don't know why they thought, let's turn them into nudists and have them nude every few issues.
I've never had a problem with that.
You're comfortable with the human form.
Yeah, human bodies are beautiful.
I think I'd like it better if they drew them their age. Like they all had like bellies and shit.
Well, they never showed naked men. Well, I mean, sometimes they show them naked, but in the context of the nudist colony thing on planet Wynneth, they almost never show naked men. It's usually a couple of girls.
I feel like there's quite a few naked dudes. There's always like, someone's holding a coffee cup right where their crotch is.
Oh, yeah. But we'll have to keep account.
And they're all like insanely fit
they're all pretty ripped,
for old people.
We'll have to keep track of it, Joe Bob style, I guess, as we go. But yeah, he gets a room in the clothing optional. Oh no, in the Paul Corinne wing, right? I guess because he wasn't a legionnaire very long.
Or Paul.
Cut from Roxxas over to the Lightning Ring plantation, and everybody's there now. All the legionnaires, like some of them were headed there, but some of them they're just there now. We didn't really.
Well, we were kind of following a couple different groups. We had the Chameleon Boy and Rock, who are trying to kind of reassemble the Legion in some form, but then we also had like Celeste, Rockford, Fish.
Oh, Celeste, Rockfish, yeah,
Rockfish, and Element Lad, and those guys. We're kind of alternating between those two storylines, and maybe was there another one? At any rate, they're all kind of converging.
There's the group with Ultra Boy and Furball, and I guess maybe they had already teamed up with Chameleon Boy and Cosmic Boy.
Right.
For me, the surprise is that the last time we saw the Rockfish Element Lad thing, they just met him at the end of the issue, and now they're here. Like they never said, like, "Hey, let's all team up and go to Earth or go to Wynneth." I think they just were like,
"Are you sure?"
Didn't 6 or 7 end with them encountering him on Trom? And then 8 and 9 was flashback issues where they weren't even in it, and now they're all here. But maybe I forgot. I kind of tuned out 8 and 9 because they're kind of duds. Like you almost don't even need to read those issues. After a couple of crappy fill-ins, we're back to full Keith Giffen storytelling here.
I don't freaking know. I thought in one of those Giffen, like he does a couple pages here and there in those fill-ins, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, they're like slowly advancing little bits of the plot, even in those. I thought there was something about them getting on a ship. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it could be, and I just forgot. Anyway, everybody's on Wynneth. Even Brainiac 5, they say, is now here. And he hasn't even been in this series except for issue 4, which may or may not have really happened, I guess. We don't quite know how that fits into the reality anymore, I guess, but that was the only issue Brainiac 5 has been in, I think, number 4.
Right. But he seems unchanged overall. He is as we saw him a few issues ago.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, maybe he's always been there. Like the last time, or not the last time, but one time they talked about him in the text page, and he's like the doctor for Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad's kids or whatever.
Why on earth? Why on earth? They just don't want to deal with Dr. Gemmel, I guess.
It seems like they wouldn't want to deal with either of those guys.
Right, right.
Like Brainiac 5 is surely going to draw some kind of lethal problem to your kids. Just get a regular doctor, you know?
Yeah, I mean, your kid was already one of the greatest supervillains in the series. Why tempt fate with this guy? The guy who keeps trying to rebuild Computo. Like,
yeah.
He's going to somehow accidentally turn him back into, what was his name again?
Validus.
Validus, yeah.
But anyway, maybe that's why he's there. Maybe he just lives there.
Maybe.
They have a little reunion between Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad. I guess these dudes hadn't seen each other in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, like maybe not even since the last series ended. Like since before the last series ended.
Oh, yeah, that could be. Like Lightning Lad didn't even really play a part in
right
in the last third of the Baxter series.
Yeah, and they seem like old injured vets here. Like they're both damaged.
Yeah, there's these broke down old guys with washboard abs.
Did he have that, what was it, the Yergian fever?
No. Lightning Lad had Validus plague.
Oh, the plague from his son.
Yeah. And what, it affected his body except for his new arm? Or was it the reverse of that? He walks with a cane because he had Validus plague. But it didn't mess him up too bad because his wife is currently pregnant. So it's just his leg and not the entirety below the belt, I guess.
Right.
And because he's from the twins planet Wynneth, where everyone is a twin, I think he has 2 penises. So he could probably lose one and still get a girl pregnant.
Which is, he would be perfect for Duo Damsel.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, it's almost,
get her pregnant
it is a weird parallel that they never really bring up or contrast, but her planet has some weird twin business too, or triplet business. And like, in some interpretations, like maybe she's different because they think independently and not all of them.
Yeah, I think like that's what they put into the post 0 hour reboot thing is, yeah, she has 3 different personalities or something like that.
It can't be like Lightning Lord is not the only guy like that, but it's rare.
Yeah, I think sometimes they say that he is the only guy who was ever like that, but yeah, that can't be. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I don't understand how any of this really works practically speaking. I mean, he went off on his own at some point. So, I mean, how do you know who doesn't have a twin for them to become like a pariah? Unless everyone is like in tandem with their twin all the time.
It almost seems like they're conjoined twins for all intents and purposes. And like you sit beside your twin at school and you wear the same outfit and stuff.
Right.
And you
but
marry
his twin didn't come with him to Earth.
I know, that's true.
Do you think they marry, like the twins have to marry the same, like
yeah, I think so. I think that must be what happens. I think it's because it's such a twin society, like yeah, I think most people wouldn't understand it if like I wanted to marry somebody who's not the twin of my twin's lover or whatever, you know? It would be like coming out as gay, I think, to
it must be weird that he has married an off-worlder who has no twin.
Totally. It's got to be totally crazy.
And the nudism thing, is that just a Wynneth thing as well?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think like in the early Legion days, that we didn't see it because of the comics code, but they were constantly having to get on him about like walking around in public naked? It's like, what are you doing? You got to wear clothes here.
Yeah, they should have. That would have been a good...
He's like, what? Why is everybody acting so uncomfortable? What's the matter?
Right. And he would, like, I see you doing that when you got your coffee cup in one hand. That would have been him. He's like coming back from Starbucks, like, whoa, what are you looking at? Oh, it's my dick again.
When they're on that space train or wherever they first met, he comes and sits down next to Saturn Girl completely naked.
Yeah. Or he's always
how you doing?
He's always taking his shoes and socks off wherever he goes.
Right.
It's like, it's real hot in here, isn't it?
Yeah. Just starts taking it all off.
Wouldn't be surprised. I think definitely an underexplored couple of character points.
Yeah, listen up, DC, for your next reboot.
Need a whole miniseries about this.
Mm-hmm.
Whole nude miniseries.
So then we cut to the sister, Lightning Lass. How do you pronounce her first name?
I think in my mind, I always say Ayla. I think maybe some people say Isla. I don't know.
So she's admiring their old ship. This is like, again, is this the coloring or like once it's identified as a ship, I can see it, I can pick it out, but I don't like look right at that and go, oh, there's their knockoff Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, I think like they goofed by putting a word balloon over like the hull or was that the front of the spaceship, so you can't quite see it.
Wasn't it yellow?
You know,
maybe not.
It was. There's
Maybe
this
it was
website.
yellow in the 70s.
Yeah, there's this website that shows like I think it's kind of a nice, well done website. It's just like legionofsuperheroes.com maybe.
Uh-huh.
And they have like a picture, and they're like Legion Cruiser Mark 1, Mark 2, on and on, and they show the whole lineage of them.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, there was the yellow one, but I think they had maybe 2 different ones after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually really stuck with the design from the end of the Baxter series all the way through up until like Stuart Eminem was drawing it.
Okay.
And it's this. It looks there's one that's a little more smoothed out. It has this kind of grill stuff on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of unique and distinct. But yeah, this is the same one that they were using, that Paul Levitz was using.
Right. And they'll end up using in the series?
I believe so. Or they have some little smaller ones that they use.
More of that kind of Millennium Falcon / broken down Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're still the same ones from 10 years ago,
Even some of the dialogue here seems kind of reminiscent of Han Solo talking about the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, she's talking about all the crazy adventures they did in these ships back in the old days that I guess they never really told us about, all the crazy maneuvering and shit that they did in their space cruisers.
And I guess in the future, ships are he's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now that you mention it, that is strange.
They're usually, or maybe that's like a gender reversal because it's the girl saying it instead of like the Han Solo kind of guy who refers to his ship as a she.
Yeah. But it could be the boats are she and spacecraft are he.
Oh, okay.
We just haven't gotten to that point yet where everybody has a spacecraft and has to call it by a gender.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably have evolved past having to specify a gender for every object by the time we get to the 30th century.
Yeah, I don't know. It might not be socially acceptable anymore. I'm not sure, but I've noticed on the new Doctor Who, they go out of their way not to do that. In the old show, he's always calling the TARDIS old girl.
Oh, really?
Or she. And I'm sure there's some misogyny mixed in there.
I guess I would have thought the TARDIS was just it.
Well, it is now.
Oh.
But before it was like ships.
Yeah, cool.
What do you call that? Anthropomorphizing?
I guess
is that when you attribute human qualities to?
I think so. What I thought was crazy is that the Lightning Ring plantation also has a gigantic spaceship hangar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only do they have their big grain room, they have farmland.
I thought this was more like a barn. Like he's just keeping the old ship in his barn, but you're probably right.
Well, it has this kind of ramp looking thing, like it looks like Cloud City or something in there almost.
Yeah.
But it has a roof. The roof is clear.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just like, that's the kind of garage you have to have if you have a spaceship.
Yeah, it could be. But it looks bigger than the garage you would need for this one spaceship.
Yeah.
It's sort of huge. She finishes talking to this like dockmaster guy and then is just sort of daydreaming about maybe there will be a Legion of Superheroes again. And she's looking out into the expanse of some wilderness that's just adjacent to the giant hangar. So the plantation takes up a lot of acreage, is all I'm trying to say.
These guys their names are mud on earth at this point. And this is the guy with all the property and probably a lot of money. So a lot of anything that they didn't want destroyed during the 5 year, like the old statues and stuff, they've like left it here on his property. It's like a safe place to put it. I bet they have like all of Prody and Prody 2 stuff. There's a whole museum dedicated to the Legion of Super Pets for some reason.
Lightning Lad and Cosmic Boy see each other for the first time in 5 years, and the first thing Lightning Lad says is like, "Hey, you want to come and see my new Prody museum? You got to check this out. It's so awesome." No, I don't. Yeah, sure. I got kids on the way. Whatever. Come and check out the Prody museum.
I'm gonna build one for the Legion one of these days, but check out the.
No, we have his little barbell and everything. Prody was so great. All right, more comedy bits, more hilarious bits with Roxxas. He's trying to track down the Legionnaires. He's going to infiltrate the plantation. Now he's in disguise as this guy, but he's being annoyed by a tourist. I don't know if this is on the plantation or not. Like the plantation also includes like a big honeybee sanctuary with a force field around it because of real dangerous honeybees.
I feel like some of this is telegraphed badly, but like it's not totally obvious that he disappeared. There's a lot of them having to like explain what's going on in the dialogue in this issue. We've noticed.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that because you can see these word balloons in the whatever 7th and 8th panels. The ones that really explain how he's turned invisible and stuff. They were post-production additions to this. Like it's a different letterer. Like they're like, oh, this isn't going to be clear to them. And like the Tom and Mary Bierbaum were talking about it in the letters page, how we've already begun the process of dumbing down this comic because of overwhelming confusion among the letters page submitters.
Yeah, it looked hopeful at first because on the first page, he doesn't just come out and say, "I'm Roxxas," and take his mask off on panel. But they lean on the multiple personality thing, you know, and it's kind of a gag in a way. Right. You see that this character begins talking in the multiple personality voice that Roxxas has been doing. If you've been reading along, right. If you're a new reader, you have no idea. Like if this happens to be your first issue, but yeah, once we get to here, and it isn't really clear. Like he disappears in these two panels, and where's the poof in the cartoony, bubbly letters?
Yeah, it should just be pop.
So then you have the guy saying, "I know he was there. He was just standing there, right? I saw it." Like you wouldn't need to have him saying this goofy dialogue where he's explaining everything happening. Yeah, if you just, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but like they're just anticipating that somebody's going to write in and be like, "What? There was a panel that had word balloons coming out of nowhere, out of the scenery. Why I'm confused." You know, right? And they're like, "We're gonna fix this. We're gonna nip this in the bud. Make sure that asshole doesn't write a letter to us." Right. It's kind of neat in the 8th panel. He's casting a shadow on the ground as if
It is neat, but it's again. I don't think it's telegraphed very well because the way the panel crops, there really could be just a regular guy standing there. It's not totally obvious that it's a shadow being cast from nothing. But
yeah. I mean. So maybe they were on the right track to explain this a little bit better, but it also, really sticks out like a sore thumb to me anyway, that like, oh, you wrote this after the fact to make sure I didn't have any questions. Right. But Roxxas turns invisible instead of just being in a goofball disguise. He's just invisible now, and he's going to walk into the Rand's residence and try and kill every Legionnaire that's in there.
So then we go to some old footage of Black and White Witch fighting. Shadrach.
Shadrach? What is his name?
Shadrach.
Shadrach.
His partners, Meshach and Abednego, aren't in this scene, but these guys were. I think this adventure is made up, but this character has been in the comic before.
Yeah, he's a real guy. I looked him up. He was part of the Taurus gang from the Adventure Comics days, and his origin was actually kind of an interesting. I mean, the little synopsis I read on like Legion of Super Bloggers or something.
Are they in here?
I think so. You might check the T issue for Taurus Gang. But the little write-up that I read explained that this guy was discovered in a zoo. They didn't know that he was a sentient being. And so they discovered that and then released him. And then he became a bad guy and joined the Taurus Gang as an enforcer.
It's kind of like what we do with gorillas, only we kept them caged once we...
It's because they're going to turn out to be evil because they were imprisoned by
We've seen Planet of the Apes. We know what's going to happen. Yeah, he's in here.
I like his pose where he's sort of like leaning down, like he's in a like his
Like he's a
little league
cartoonist.
photo.
He's
Oh
like a
no.
cartoonist posture.
I thought it was little league where everybody's like in
Yeah.
their like their ready stance or whatever. Like
Oh,
the ball's going to come to
right.
him anytime. You know, you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
got to be ready to spring. Yeah, he looks kind of cool. His face.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a TikTok video where Block steps in to protect White Witch,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "You need not waste your powers, not as long as Block is your friend." And White Witch is there in the present day, crying because Block's dead.
Right. Unlike the others, you're like, oh, well, that one guy,
Right.
that one rock guy is gone. She's actually upset about it. I guess you could say maybe this is, see, I don't buy that they were alluding towards a relationship in the past. I think that's a modern invention.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think they were friends.
Yeah. Yeah. But like he says, Block is your friend.
Well, but that's,
I'm your friend.
But that's a guy who really wants to not just be her friend.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to put my life on the line because I'm your friend. Do you see how much I'm your friend? See what a great friend I am to you? Maybe we could be really good friends, you and I.
Yeah, and in typical White Witch fashion, she's like, oh shit, I haven't memorized a spell yet. How is she not on the subs?
I don't know. She's so useless.
You know, like all the good subs like have a great power, but there's some huge limitation, deal-breaking limitation to their power, right? And in her case, it's like she's like the most powerful sorceress, but she just can't remember anything. Sort of like me on Twitter. I can come off as clever there when I've had like an hour to think of two clever sentences. But then when I'm on here with you, you see me for who I really am.
Yeah, just an empty vessel. Yeah, I feel like I had some point that I was going to make and I forgot. White Witch style, couldn't remember shit.
You should have memorized a spell.
Oh, I was going to say that maybe surely there's a Legionnaire who could have like coached her on some kind of memorization technique.
Right, right. Use what is it when you memorize the first letter of every word or something like that. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sal or something like that. You know, it would make her a lot more charming if that was part of it. Like if she had them written on her hand and pen all the time. Like what?
Yeah, if she could just cop to the fact that it's kind of dorky that she just can't fucking remember her job.
Right.
We would have a little bit more respect for her. Like if
well, either there's something wrong with her memory, or maybe I guess they could say like the spells can't be held in your mind for long. They can never be committed to long-term memory. They vanish.
Yeah.
There are a few the characters, a couple of them seem to be written ludicrously or out of character in this issue. Like the Saturn girl thing, as a parent, I have to say this does not ring true to me at all. Like, she's like, I know you're busy, like, trying to cure my son, but could you, like, find time to help this other person?
Yeah, you wouldn't say that, huh? You would
probably
say, take focus off of curing my son.
You'd think she'd be mad about it, or at least conflicted about it, not like trying to talk him into it.
I guess I kind of got the vibe that like these are people who are they're always going to take advantage of the fact that this guy is kind of a workaholic and he can solve any problem. So like she's asking nicely in this way, but she knows that it's not going to take anything away from whatever he's doing for her son to do this other shit, because he's just going to like add more hours to the day somehow.
Except how many people does he string along for years working on cures to?
Well, see, he's not doing that no more. Those people have all been dead. They're either dead or
Danielle, fixed. Is that her name? Danielle Foucault?
Oh, Danielle Foucault, yeah. She's cured. She's fine.
She's cured. Okay.
Monel's fine. I don't know who else there is.
The other thing that occurred to me, like, this is a common trope, I guess, in superhero comics, but you have the one genius and he's the genius at everything, which is kind of corny, but he's trying to come up with a cure here, like he's a biologist, but then I guess he's going to be like the psychiatrist here too. Couldn't they have made one of the other Legionnaires the psychiatrist character?
I think what Brainiac 5 will probably do is he'll review the case history and then he'll call in the correct specialist.
So he's like the triage.
Job. Yeah, because I think even Brainiac 5 knows himself enough to say that I'm not a master at talk therapy or whatever, and he would have to be a magician or something because her mind has been shattered by the mystic arts or something like that.
Right.
So he's going to figure out what happened and then call up. I'm forgetting the name of the guy from the Magic Museum in Magic Wars. What's that guy's name? Yeah, like he'll call up that guy and be like, "Hey, you know a spell? I know you don't have one memorized, but maybe you got one in your book that you could use on her and fix her." That's what he'll do.
By now, you think they'd figure out a way to delegate some of this stuff. You've got all these characters that you need something to do with.
Yeah,
the biggest superhero team there is. Like maybe there should be one that's more of a robotics guy. And I guess he's a typical mad scientist, so he's going to be biology and robotics. But you think you'd have like a shrink character? I guess it would be Saturn Girl, probably.
Probably so. She's not part of the team. She's not doing it. She's too busy being pregnant and doing her workout.
Right.
But it's on his radar. Fixing the White Witch, it's on his radar. This is the only appearance she has in this issue. All right, now we're getting somewhere.
I just want to mention real quick before I forget. It is weird that everyone is here, but nobody invited Dirk.
Yeah, huh?
I think they all realize he's a douche or a sellout.
Well, is it because... I mean, they must all consider the government of Earth the enemy of the Legion of Superheroes.
They're pretty sure he'd be like a narc or something. He would.
Yeah. Like you don't want to invite that into your house.
They do kind of make it clear from maybe like the second page of the first issue that he is anti-Legion at this point. Like he's down with the establishment.
Right. He treats his time as a Legionnaire as sort of a youthful.
Right.
Frivolity. He ain't like that no more. He's a grown up now.
Right.
You know, like the Legionnaires are like the teens who never grew up. And Sunboy, he has grown up and he's just a fucking shill for the system, right? And he's just a tool. And they don't want him. He's too grown up. He's too much of a stick in the mud.
Yeah, they're like, there's going to be too many naked people here. We don't need him here.
Yeah, he can't keep his hands off of them.
Yeah, they might. I think maybe they can't pinpoint, like they might not know for sure he had something to do with their eventual downfall, but they feel like he's been corrupted to some extent, like he's getting paid, he's been paid off. Or
yeah, I'm sure they feel that they can't trust him, even if he's still a good guy somehow. He wouldn't be able to trust him in that capacity as the fucking. Whatever he is, the president, basically the president or something.
Sellout. He's a sellout.
There's also other Legionnaires who aren't here, you know?
Yeah.
There's Colossal Boy, the cop. He's not here.
Well, right. And he's like, I was thinking about this earlier, like, if you're going to do a story like this where it's set further ahead, you have to have at least three things, I think. You can't just have everyone back together. You have to have at least one person needs to be dead. One has to be gone bad, and one has to be like, nah, I'm not interested in that anymore. I've moved on in my life. And I think that's who Colossal Boy is in that third one.
But then we're also still missing a bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just because there's too many to locate them all.
Right. And in the case of this comic, not that I think they ended up getting around to everybody, but that's kind of a good plot driver, like getting to see, well, it's like when we were watching Twin Peaks: The Return, and you're like, maybe are we going to see the guys from the diner in the next episode? Or
right.
It gives you an opportunity to tell another story on another planet and see what's become of Starboy.
Yeah, they could have invited Starboy to this.
Yeah, but we got that awesome baseball issue you love so much. It would be blown if he was just here.
Yep. On this page, it's new Legionnaire. Like, neither of these guys is Legionnaire. This is Devlin Orion and Bounty.
They're kind of Legionnaires.
And Bounty is out there and uses her superior hunting and tracking prowess to pick up the scent somehow. Somehow she knows Roxxas is about. And so she runs off and she tells Devlin to go get help. And Devlin is evidently so useless that he doesn't even know how he got there. He's lost because he followed her. And I mean, I guess it just goes to show what a big sprawling estate this is.
Comic relief kind of in this.
Yeah, it's more silly. This is more silly stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm Agora, or whatever, because he's Irish.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he's lost. But the next page, it takes place in the fitness complex of the Lightning Ring Plantation.
Right.
That big old gym with a sauna and everything.
It's another page where I feel like the characters don't seem quite right. Like, part of it might be on purpose as a joke, but like Chameleon Boy is teasing her, saying you didn't really believe that legendary detective tripe everyone's saying about you. But that's sort of how they were playing him in the 80s. Like Joe Friday, or maybe the 70s. He was sort of a Joe Friday kind of character.
Yeah, this is, it's Chameleon Boy and Celeste Rockfish in the sauna. Yeah, he's ribbing her for being, or for trying to go after Roxxas on her own, or with just her operatives, and
didn't really think you were a great detective, did you? Or maybe he's just it embarrasses him because it reminds him of when he thought he was going through his Joe Friday phase, maybe.
Well, he must still be thinking of himself as the great detective and as the great superhero. And he's like, you're just kind of we know that you're just, the first private detective in the phone book. You're not history's greatest detective.
You're not like I am.
Yeah. I've got a whole espionage squad.
The other thing that seems a little weird to me is how blown away he is by his surroundings. And we know he's like the richest guy on the team.
Right, yeah. And he's like, they got TVs in the bathroom.
Whoa, look at the size of these TVs. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's kind of out of tune.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like the familiarity between these two characters is like nothing has ever established. These guys have never even met before now, according to us.
Bath towels.
And now they're like, I'm the good detective. No, I'm the good detective. And it's just kind of silly.
It almost seems like they must know each other, right? Why else would he be this abrasive towards her?
Yeah, maybe it's because she's from the Macaulay family, the other rich family. So yeah, maybe they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been nothing else in the story prior to this to show that they would know each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like they're cousins or like they used to date or something like that. Maybe they did. But he's also being very dismissive of her because she's sort of this Bush League's PI and he's a big time rich guy superhero. So maybe his riches has gone to his head since we last saw him, or since he was last a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
He's all about the art of the deal today.
Right. Well, he thinks she's out of her league, right?
Yeah.
He's like, leave the heavy duty stuff to us.
But this is back to more Roxxas silly disguise shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Bounty's on his tail, and he goes into the grain silo area and puts on this disguise, and he looks like, he's got this kind of soul patch thing. He looks like he's in like the
Sugar Ray.
Yeah, I was going to say Smash Mouth.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. He looks like the drummer or the bass player in a band like that, 90s band. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Like this is 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Smash Mouth, Sugar Ray, those dudes didn't come out for 7 or 8 more years. So Giffen has really got his finger on the pulse. He knows what people are, or what
ahead of his time.
Like he somehow foresaw that all the white guys were going to look like this 8 years from now.
Right.
And they did. You remember they did, right? Like did you have a soul patch? Did you have one of these?
I may have tried that
or the shaggy bangs.
Yeah. Sadly, yes. I didn't have cool clothes like this, but it's kind of a good costume.
He disguises himself as like a quality control guy, is what he says.
Okay, guys, let's go out and control some quality.
Oh, he's talking to his other voices in his head, huh? That's why he says, okay, guys.
Yeah.
But then he's approached by Mech Durance, who's still, he's out there and he's working after hours. I thought it was kind of funny. He's like, hey, dude, you can go home. It's silver ale time. That's that shit from Rimbor.
Doesn't quite have the same ring as Miller, but yeah.
But then it gets into some comedic antics where...
Roxxas assumes Mech is still a villain. And he's like, I was here first. I get to kill them.
Mecht he's such a milquetoast now. And such a soft person. Nothing wrong with that, but he's so like we were just reading the that annual where all he is doing is like screaming and threatening to kill people all the time and claiming ownership of things and people and everything, like
right.
Macho bad guy, right?
Do you feel like maybe they kind of overdid it when they were brainwashing him into a good guy, like
reprogramming him?
So now he's just like happy all the time.
Oh yeah. He's got too much Prozac in his system.
Right.
I don't know if Prozac does that to you.
Right. But
yeah, it could be. It could be that he has some kind of drug that's always being like constantly administered to him to keep him at a certain emotion level or positivity level or something.
I used to wonder, because he seems to have some aversion to using his lightning power in this. I always wondered if that had some... Like, I kind of assumed, and I don't think there's anything in this that when they're talking about his rehabilitation later, they don't really talk about this at all. But I always figured, like, his electric powers might somehow be contributing to his mental illness.
I think they introduced that in the reboot thing, that it affects both of these guys, Lightning Lad and Lightning Lord, that the lightning power makes them aggressive or something.
Oh, okay. But not Lightning Lass, huh?
I guess not. Yeah, like it's testosterone or something, so they've got to release it. They have to release their spark to cool down, like taking a cold shower or something.
I think it would make sense that it could potentially mess with your brain, since you've got electrical impulses in your brain. They use shock therapy on people sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds logical from a non-scientific point of view.
From a pseudoscientific.
Yeah, pseudoscientific. While Roxxas is talking to Mecht, Roxxas catches sight of Bounty stalking him. He blows her up. He's like, you can change your hair color and put on different clothes, but I know you're one of them. I think they even, back here when, or have we not gotten to it yet? Yeah, I think it's the first time that that they make us think that Bounty is a Legionnaire in disguise.
Yeah, there's little allusions to it, and when you read it back, it seems pretty obvious. But
yeah, but it begins in this issue. I don't think they did it prior to this.
No, they might have come up with the idea in this issue. Who knows?
After this instance in the issue, like he says it here, and then after that, a couple more times in the issue, they begin to like really lay it on thick with doesn't she remind kind of you
her tracking thing.
Yeah.
It's like the furball thing all over again.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe some of the really astute readers will notice.
Well, it's
the connection.
It's strange that she has like a Timberwolf symbol on her face.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Isn't it? Like it's this little. It looks like a little wolf head.
It does.
Is there closer vision?
It's supposed to be a tattoo.
Like whether it's a piercing or a tattoo, and is it Timberwolf symbol, or is it like it's like half Punisher, half wolf? It's like a Wolverine Punisher symbol.
I thought it was like one of those temporary tattoos. Those rub on.
Maybe it is. She has to reapply it every time she takes a shower.
She's a messy eater. But it's funny. He points out some obvious flaws with this character. Like, did you really think changing your hair color and changing your clothes would fool me? Like, well, apparently it's working for the entire team, and he's never even met her.
Right. This is a dude who's met Dawnstar maybe one time. But it's like, yeah, I know who you are. I guess he checked out all their files of the library, right? Before he murdered that little kid.
Yeah, but everyone else is like Jonah was on that ship with her all the way to this planet.
I know. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, there must be something that emanates a confusion to those around her or something.
Yeah, like her breasts. They're too busy in her old costume. They never looked her in the eye that much.
They never looked above the collarbone.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, Mech seems to have had an aversion to using his electric powers, but Roxas forces his hand, and there's this dramatic
Right.
3-panel exhibition of his powers where he comedically zaps Roxas and his hair gets all frizzy.
They seem to be writing him a little bit more like the Joker as we go. He's funny, but I do like that Roxas.
Server 1.
Oh,
Server 2.
shit.
What? Who
Shut
are you
up.
talking to? Who
That's
is that
my
woman?
personal assistant. No. It's I've got this button that if I hit, it will read everything on the screen.
Obnoxious.
Anyway, I like that as goofy as they're playing him, they work in some competency here and there, like the way he sees her like up behind him basically and takes her down.
Right.
Like even though he's goofy, he's still formidable.
Yeah. And he explained to us in a couple issues ago that he has some special weaponry that's designed to take out Legionnaires specifically.
Right.
And so he knows how to use that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of crazy. Like he's only got the mascara and eyeshadow on one side, and the fake eyelash on one side, and not the other side. I should have looked back. I don't know if he's been like this the whole time, like he's only making up half of his face. And I wonder if
Giffen, he turns into Two-Face basically.
Yeah, eventually.
A little further down the line, like maybe after this, like maybe it happens in the story, and we just don't see it for a while.
But I wonder if Giffen meant for him to be, I don't know, like have like white pancake on one side and not the other side or something like that.
Because of his multiple personalities, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be.
But the whole time, Mech is saying shit like, don't be a bad guy. It's all going to bite you in the ass. You don't have to be this way. And Roxas is like, you used to be cool.
Yeah, what happened to you? Who's even going to share? Who's going to let him kill the annoying green guy? And
shrinking violet.
The one that shrinks, yeah.
But he fucks up Mech. He pulls out a gun, like a big blaster gun, and blows up everything. Mm-hmm. And then he stomps on him. And that's kind of a silly... He's like, I'll teach you to interfere. And he's like, stomp. And then take this and that. Take this and that.
Yeah, but somehow, like in comics, at least, and maybe... I don't know what it comes. Maybe it's from when the Robin died or something. Like, it seems more brutal that he's stomping on him than blowing him up, because people shoot beams at each other all the time, and they just get up and they're fine. But if you're like stomping on him with your foot, that feels like real violence. Yeah, it's just this weird thing. Like we have this language in our media of like kind of cartoon violence that doesn't seem to have the same consequences, even though you would think in real life it'd be more severe, like blowing things up. But then like what he's doing to Celeste, that looks like real, like domestic violence or something.
Oh, yeah.
It feels worse than him shooting someone with a laser.
Yeah. We're used to seeing people get blown up in movies where the big explosion happens behind the hero and the hero gets thrown up in the air.
Right.
And when he lands, he just kind of goes, oh, and there's a little bit of cloud of dust, and he gets up and he runs away again, runs like 20 miles.
He's just asleep for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If someone comes and slaps him and wakes him up.
Yeah. Or these movies where these dudes have a fist fight, or like the bad guy punches a good guy like literally like 20 times in the face.
Right.
And then somebody shakes it off and they start fighting again. It's like, no, you just got 20 concussions. You will probably have brain damage in 10 minutes,
All these movies, I mean, it's just the good guy doesn't typically kill the bad guys. He just punches them once, unless they're the main guy. He's got to hit him a lot of times. But if he's a henchman or something, they punch him one time and he's asleep.
Yeah.
And sometimes they even do it to their friends. Like they don't want him to go.
Oh, yeah.
So they knock him out so he can go sacrifice himself to kill the Sun Eater or whatever. But now knowing what we know about traumatic head injuries, when I see that, I'm like, that dude is probably going to like kill himself when he's 45 and he's going to have Alzheimer's and like.
Yeah, serious like that. Like you shouldn't be doing that shit to your friends. That knockout, like that. Right. That's his brain hitting against the side of his skull.
Yeah, and hitting the
violently.
reset button.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I learned that as a kid. Me and my brother playing GI Joe, like we did that constantly. It's like, oh,
You
how do I
knocked
get
each
this out of the
other
way?
out.
You're like, oh, he knocked him out. That's why he's not coming along with
Oh,
us.
yeah.
You know, like, oh, okay, you knocked him out. You can
He'll
do
be
that.
fine. Yeah, maybe you would have been better off if you just killed him. I mean, this guy's like won't be able to speak complete sentences when he's 40, and he's gonna be losing his memory.
Yeah, like reading the assault on Mectrans, and then on the last page of the comic, they do the whole timeline of him being rehabilitated in prison from being psychotic lightning lord with very troubled psychotic problems for whatever it takes them 800 days to rehabilitate him into being this super nice, well-adjusted guy who, you know, he only had to have 1 year of probation after they released him to his family. Like, okay, they fixed him. And no, after he gets blown up and gets kicked to death, I picture a relapse happening. You know, like they're foreshadowing that. You know what I mean?
It almost seems like they're leaving it open for that. Like it's like they defanged him, and then it's like what happens to Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange. Like they make him a nice docile guy, but then he starts getting jumped and beat up by other people. And it sort of leads to him regressing back into a savage character.
Yeah.
I don't know. The message is like the world. You can't be a nice person in this world. You'll just get preyed upon.
I don't think they ever bring back. Well, I don't think they really follow up on any storylines with him again.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully they didn't go that route because that's so boring to me. Like they do that all the time. So then their reformation just becomes like a gimmick.
Yeah,
I like that they didn't go for that, at least until they rebooted everything. He does show up more because I think we find out at some point he's gay. He has a partner.
Oh yeah, I kind of do remember that.
I mean, he doesn't show up much, and he never has like a central role, but he shows up more.
Yeah, I like the idea that, like I feel like there's some story potential in the idea that maybe he's always just a hair's breadth from turning back into the really evil Lightning Lord. So we have to, I don't know, like if he gets attacked by Roxxas, for example, like who knows what'll happen. You know, like somebody's gonna be walking on eggshells around this guy, and they don't really know, like he's sort of a unknown quantity or something. Like that could be kind of interesting, but maybe hard to pull off on a comic book.
There is that feeling like why he doesn't want to attack him. Like maybe it's as overt as I described, like the electricity could be doing something to him, but it's also just he's afraid if he engages in this violent act, he might like it too much, or it's like the non-smoker having a cigarette.
Yeah, that could be too. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. I guess you just said what's going to happen to him. He's not going to turn into a bad guy again.
Don't know. All right. So where are we? We're on. What the fuck, dude? Are we only on page 11?
We're on page 12 now.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
We're on the page where Shrinking Violet takes a shower.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, she's having a I don't know if it's supposed to be sexy, but you know, she gets all undressed and she's taking a shower, but the whole time she's thinking about how she's going to be able to be face to face with Cosmic Boy, since she's sort of responsible for him getting blowed up and losing his superpowers in the war between their two planets.
Right. And they already seem to be kind of walking it back, her culpability a little bit. Like they're like, well, I didn't want him to do it, and I didn't do it directly.
I was wondering if the battle between Brawl and Imsk, if we could compare that to our current Palestine-Israel conflict. Palestine-Israel conflict.
I'm going to strike that down almost immediately, but I would think more likely it'd be a war between like one of these human colonies and someone like the Dominators, someone who's kind of coded as Muslim.
Oh, like you mean like if they were going to
do Durlians?
Yeah, if they were going to do an Israel-Palestine conflict in the comic, it would be like that. Yeah,
some humanoids versus some non-human looking characters.
Right.
Did we talk about how like the Dominators kind of look like like the Japanese stereotypical villains in the Golden Age.
I bet we have talked about that.
Yeah.
Maybe not recently.
Like that claw, yellow claw kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those guys, they're bald headed and they have sharp fingers, and
yep.
It is weird how they're almost like stand-ins for those old racial villains.
Right, but
the Durlians are kind of like Muslims.
But the Dominators didn't really look like they do here until Giffen got a hold of them in the 80s, you know? Like they kind of look look like robots or something. Where the fuck are they?
Yeah, I mean, like I know what you're talking. I know what they originally.
Instead of the fangs, it was just a
they
circle.
Had kind of a speaker looking thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe in some.
Oh yeah, and I totally forgot the big red disc,
the big red circle
flag. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of thought the guys put into it. It could be something legitimate, like you're tapping into or you're examining those tropes, but I don't know that they were that thoughtful.
Yeah, I assume that they just wanted them to be scary aliens, and then Giffen redesigned them to be even more scary and horror show type of things.
Mm-hmm.
In Earth War, that wasn't even their first appearance, was it? They're more of a Silver Age invention, aren't they?
Jim Shooter.
Yeah.
I think Kurt Swan is the first guy. I think it's more ambiguous there, but his version of them, it looks. Do you know the character I'm talking about? I think he fought Daredevil, maybe. There's actually 2 or 3 guys who look more or less the same, but they have similar proportions to these guys. Their skulls are kind of shaped like that, but they're like Japanese.
Yeah, if I don't know what you mean, but I think I do, I definitely know the type, the Yellow Menace type of character from the 40s, World War II propaganda type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Giffen just kind of modeling it after that, or it's just part of his vocabulary that there's an alien that has, sharp fingernails and crazy spiky teeth and stuff.
Right.
Because I don't think Giffen himself was playing with racist stereotypes. I don't know that he.
Right. Yes, it could be like subconscious. Who knows?
Yeah. But so what is the real life mirror of the Brawl Imsk War, or is there one, do you think?
Yeah, I don't remember enough about her. I thought her people were kind of like warlike, right? But she's saying they were attacked.
Yeah, it does say his planet attacked mine.
I guess his planet, was his planet always poor?
I believe so. It kind of seems like they were always, impoverished planet.
You would think these guys who can manipulate metal would be well off.
Yeah. But they decided to attack the literal little guys and still lost the war.
Like, who did Earth support? Was Earth like shipping weapons to one side? Or?
Well, I think it all happened when Earth was kind of also at an all-time low. So maybe Earth wasn't part of it.
Earth was going through like its isolationist.
Yeah.
Trump kind of make Earth great again. It's not our job to take care of all you guys. See, I don't know enough about the details and politics of that war, the Imsk Brawlian War. Is it ever really? It seems like a lot of times in this comic, like they suggest a greater depth than there really is.
Right.
Like they're going to talk about political stuff, but you start paying. It's like Star Wars and the trade thing, and you start like really thinking about it, and there's nothing to it.
Yeah. You're right. I'm sure that's what it is. They have the whole. Well, I think these 2 characters, Cosmic Boy and Shrinking Violet, maybe talk it out a little bit more in a future issue. And then they have the whole Vietnam flashback issue in 19 or something like that. So maybe they flesh it out then, and we can reassess what real world war they copied this from, or multiple conflicts they might have copied this from.
This is all the what about all the Central and South American countries we have propped up and meddled with and torn down.
Yeah,
exploited.
That could be more like what they're going for, huh?
Mm-hmm. I mean, those countries, I think, occasionally get in wars with one another.
Yeah. Yeah, like the war between Brawl and Imsk. Yeah, it might have been instigated by some CIA machinations,
right?
CIA type of machinations that the Earth government, the United Planets overall overarching government was responsible for, that pitted these two like developing country planets, pitted them against each other, something like that. I don't know. It could be interesting. I don't think it winds up being interesting, but it could be.
I don't know if they did any of this, but it would make sense. So these guys are all from Earth who colonized all these places. Like, do some of these places have natives who have either sort of like they've either sort of bred together, or maybe they're two classes of people on those planets, or they've just been exterminated.
All right. This is another page where they added in some word balloons to explain to us what's going on. Element Lad, he sees a smoke in the distance, and then there's a word balloon. They're adding some exposition about Ultra Boy being curious about the origin or the actual identity of Bounty. Doesn't she remind you of somebody? Mm-hmm. That was added in later. You can tell by the different lettering. But at the same time, Element Lad is seeing smoke out there on the horizon, and he knows that Roxxas is near.
And that worked. So far, so good. But I feel like this is another place where the characters don't make sense. Like, Ultra Boy makes it his mission to go, and it seems like Joe's hanging back because his powers are partially. But through this, he seems like more of the reserved guy here. Like, you would think he's going to be the guy who's like, I need to go. This is
Element
rematch time with.
Right. Yeah, Element Lad should be the one to go after Roxxas, because that Roxxas is Element Lad's villain, right?
Right.
Yeah, Element Lad is, the whole rest of the issue is just kind of hanging around. He's being Paul Revere. Meanwhile, Ultra Boy. Man, we're having a hard time keeping these guys straight.
Yeah. I'm getting Joe and Jan mixed up.
I can't even say their actual superhero names, or I can't immediately recall them. Maybe that's why people stick with their real names. Ultra Boy's going to go out and get Roxxas. He jumps the gun.
Yeah, like
hauls ass.
It's sort of like they did it this way because it made more sense story-wise. Like, he's got the powers to get over there and deal with it immediately. But character-wise, it would have made more sense that Jonah is going to be the one. No, not Jonah. Jan here. Element Lad is going to be the one.
Yeah.
To deal with it. Element, he'd probably even be like, no, you stay out of this. This is between me and Roxxas or something like that.
Right. I think maybe you chalk it up to the what the new kind of hippie meditative personality that Element Lad has. He probably doesn't believe in revenge, and he probably knows that he doesn't need himself to be the person who takes out Roxxas. As long as the power of goodness takes out Roxxas, he's going to be cool with that. And also, like, story-wise, like, this is a way for all the Legionnaires to get picked off one by one, so that there can be an ultimate showdown next issue between Roxxas and Element Lad, which I think sort of happens.
And in some ways, like, his story with Roxxas is over in a way, like, because Chemical King told him, like, revenge is not the answer.
Right.
And he got over it.
He totally learned that lesson when Chemical King allowed Element Lad to literally murder Roxxas, so that Element Lad would feel just how wrong it was after it happened, and then he could say, "No, he didn't actually do it. I fixed it." I don't remember how he did that, but yeah,
a strange tactic, but like the only like meaningful moment, other than maybe his death, Chemical King ever had.
It was kind of a weird way to teach somebody a lesson about not murdering people. I guess it got the point across. This the drawing in page, or on page 13, panel 6, looks like Pete Morisi. Giffen's doing a Pete Morisi drawing of the profile of Element Lad. It's straight out of a Charlton comic. Panel 6 right here. The whoosh panel.
Like, when I think of that guy, I think of like full body like very cleanly drawn figures.
Yeah, I mean, but
the
face looks like a Pete Morisi face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a Pete Morisi panel. It's like Pete Morisi face.
That was good.
Yeah, I like looking at his drawings.
Did he went and got gainful employment elsewhere or something, huh?
I don't think so. I think he was a cop by day, and he drew comics.
It's kind of cool.
Kind of,
Seems
yeah.
like that'd be a good story in of itself.
Uh-huh.
I've known a couple cops that drew comics. They sucked. They really sucked. They're like really bad Punisher comics. Really badly drawn ones.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a better cop cartoonist than Pete Morisi.
Yeah, I guess you probably have those sketch artist guys, right?
Leave that name in the comments. Now we're getting somewhere. We're back to the athletic complex. Chameleon Boy and Celeste are still having their little argument, but it's interrupted by Roxxas. He blows Chameleon Boy's brains out all over the gym floor. Then he shoots Celeste in the knee. It looks real painful.
Why doesn't she have the robot leg?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait, there's a good explanation. She gets all fixed up from all her injuries here.
I like the laser blast being the sound effect.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. And it's like a hot sound effect.
Right. It's just white in the center of what's being destroyed.
And the next page is another little half comedy, half Xeroxed panels of what the fuck, Saturn Girl? That's her name, right?
Yes.
She's doing her pre-menstrual.
I don't think that's the word.
What do you call it? He said it over here.
It's a little late for the premenstrual. This is
expectant mother workout.
Prenatal, probably.
Prenatal, yeah. Expectant mother workout. And she's interrupted by Element Lad. And he's like, what in the fuck are you watching? And she's like, it's mom stuff you wouldn't understand because your parents are dead.
I mean, again, this is just, I like things like that where he stops and he looks at something stupid going on. But if this, considering that Roxxas is the one who like killed all of his people, it doesn't seem appropriate to like use him as the character. Like, what?
Right.
What are you watching in the middle of this?
Yeah, like he would have better things to do or be a little bit more
intense. I don't know.
Yeah. She does a telepathic probe to find out specifically where Roxxas is at. And so they use this as an opportunity to put some random Legionnaire thoughts to drive some exposition.
I like the face.
Oh, yeah, good close-up. He's good. It's like he's really figured out how to get all the important bits of a face into these tall, narrow panels.
I like the Xerox pages. I know you think it's cheating, but
I don't care. I think it usually works pretty well. She hears the thoughts of a whole bunch of other people, like like Lightning Lad's talking to Cosmic Boy still, and Kono's having some misadventure, and then she gets back to this. Somebody's like, "Is it my imagination, or does Bounty remind you of somebody?" Like, so this is still another person. This isn't Ultra Boy saying this because we know right now Ultra Boy's out chasing down Roxxas. So he's not thinking about Bounty anymore. So there's still somebody else, I think, thinking and having the same conversation about who the heck Bounty is.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not really sure because this conversation between Lightning Lad and Cosmic Boy was maybe also happening hours ago. I don't really know now that I'm thinking about it.
I guess we don't know if she's listening into stuff that is being said right at that moment or thoughts these people are having, like they're thinking about something they said earlier that day.
You can interpret it different ways.
And at this point, the nosebleed thing just feels like a bad cliche in these kinds of comics, but maybe it wasn't yet.
Giffen has been doing that. He did that with Maxwell Lord back in Justice League. That was earlier.
Yeah. Well, that always seemed, I don't know, that seemed different with him, though. That was, I guess it was sort of a lift. He was sort of lifting from probably that Stephen King thing, right?
Yeah.
Like Firestarter or something.
Was it Firestarter? What's the one with Christopher Walken?
The Dead Zone.
I think it's in the Dead Zone, maybe. Did they have psychic powers?
I think it's they do, but I think it could be in both. But I think in Firestarter, like Drew Barrymore's dad has like psychic powers or something, and his nose bleeds every time he uses them.
I remember seeing it. I'm pretty sure I saw it in Dead Zone because I've never seen Firestarter. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's that nosebleed thing that Giffen always does. Yeah, it's just kind of a stereotype thing now.
It is used constantly now with psychic characters, like Jean Grey's nosebleeds all the time, and I think Saturn Girl too.
I think they should have more bleeding eyes and bleeding ears.
Or like they just start shitting themselves. Or like diarrhea, vomiting.
Oh yeah, like you have a really strong psychic session, and then like you see little Saturn Girl's little white booty, and it fills up and overflows.
Well, she's like reading the thoughts of like men.
Like she's reading the mind of Superboy, and he's like, "How do I get Triple Girl pregnant? What would happen?
Yeah,
and what would it be like?"
There's lots of drippy orifices in the next 2 or 3 pages.
All right, let's get to them.
Running mascara. We've had the bloody nose.
Oh yeah, they've done that already. Where Roxxas is in the fire sprinkler. Yeah.
Well, we go like the very next page where,
she's in the shower. Oh wow, that's so gross.
And then Celeste in the middle. Everybody's face is dripping.
This is the page where Roxxas he's blown off the head of Chameleon Boy, and now he's trying to get some info out of Celeste Rockfish. And she's just a human. She isn't a super powered person, so he's beating the fuck out of her.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Clockwork Orange a second ago. This reminded me of The Shining. Remember when Jack Nicholson, he's got that axe and he's breaking down the bathroom door because Shelley Duvall and the kid are inside the bathroom, you know? He does this camera move where the camera moves side to side, like when Nicholson swings the axe back, it's like a side view. The camera moves back behind him, and then when he hits the door, the camera moves along side to side. That's what this reminded me of, where Roxas like has hold of Celeste Rockfish and he slams her real fast against the wall. And the next panel, we kind of cut to him having pulled her back and he's looking at her face. And then it's a repeat of that slamming panel again. And it looks really fast, you know?
Yeah. Looks very effective. Yeah, it seems like, does he have powers?
I think he just has the powers of insanity or something, you know? So the next thing he does is gets into a thing with Ultra Boy. But he's revealed a little bit of information to Celeste, assuming she remembers it, that she didn't know before, that the government of Earth and the Dominators are one and the same at this point. She didn't know that when she was hired by EarthGov to go find Roxxas. And the next page, it looks like Ultra Boy's kind of got the drop on him. It's going to take out Roxxas, but Roxxas has a little trick up his sleeve, some kind of little grenade thing, and it blows up Ultra Boy, takes the floor and everything. Evaporates Ultra Boy.
It's pretty great, except the last, like you mentioned, like him saying he's out of weapons. Like here, he's saying, "Can it be? Have I gotten myself in too deeply?" Like, why would you want to make the big bad seem scared, or don't we want to be afraid for the heroes in this?
I kind of read this as, like, I didn't think of what you just said. I thought this was a gag. It's just another little humor bit where, like, it's the drawing of Roxas and he's all fucked up. He looks the worst, and he's like idly thinking to himself, geez, am I in over my head on this one? Where he just looks like he's never looked worse than he does in this panel. It's just kind of a little quip. In the previous panel, he's saying doing this kind of stuff. Yep. And that, to me, like we talked about how he's kind of like the Dark Knight Returns Joker type, you know? But now he's kind of devolved into like Cesar Romero Joker, almost.
Devolved? You mean evolved? Cesar Romero's awesome.
Yeah, but he's not as seems less dangerous somehow than the Dark Knight Returns Joker.
Okay.
And a little bit more,
fair enough.
A little bit more down to earth somehow. But it just sounds like it feels like they sort of changed his characterization from this really intimidating, strange, evil presence to kind of just like your garden variety comic book lunatic or something.
Yeah. Well, I think Bierbaum confirms that a little bit. Like, I think he said something like he doesn't think Giffen was thinking about that guy immediately, but someone pointed it out. Like maybe I don't know if he said it was him or someone else, but he's pretty sure. Like after he heard that, he started writing Giffen. Started making him more and more Joker-like. Maybe not even consciously. Like he was influenced by someone making the comparison.
Yeah, he's pretty jokery. Now it's a news report, another Dark Knight Returns style exposition news report page. It's just Morella Tau telling us all what's going on.
Isn't that Timberwolf's old lady?
Oh, did he date Morella Tau?
He had like in the Baxter series, like I think he finally like got a girlfriend.
Oh, that rings a bell, huh? The character Morella Tau has been around for a while, though. But it's kind of grave. Their report of the casualties: presumed dead, Bounty, Chameleon Boy, Ultra Boy, extremely grave condition, Rockfish, critical condition, Mectrans, and missing altogether, Devlin Orion.
Like critical condition's a real thing. I'm not sure extremely grave is.
I think critical is kind of extremely grave, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
But I guess extremely grave is more critical than critical.
You just don't want to be in, extremely critical grave condition. See, that's what they should have said Devlin Orion is there on the bottom. He's in extremely grave critical condition.
They should have had him get buried under a pile of rocks, and they could have had him be in extremely gravelly condition. And they cut to these two Dominators. These were the guys who hired Rockfish a few issues ago. They hired Roxxas, and they hired Rockfish.
Even the Dominators are showing off their bodies in this.
Yeah, new Dominators. How do they stay so thin? I wish I looked like these guys.
Like everyone in the 5 years later, they all live in bathhouses or something.
Yeah,
like everything happens in steam rooms and jacuzzis in this future.
It's like they're in a film noir movie where lots of criminal dealings happen in the sauna, or superhero
and heroes. Yeah.
Like either you do criminal dealings or you have an opportunity to show a mostly naked lady doing good things.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys, they don't bathe in water. They bathe in pink stuff. It's like the pink like Chicken McNugget stuff.
And even these guys are ripped with their clothes off, and I think they're usually drawn looking kind of wiry when they've got their draping gowns on.
They're wiry, but they're strong. They got it where it counts. This one guy in the second panel is just squatting.
He's taking a dump.
Yeah. All that pink stuff is coming out of his body.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but these dudes are worried that Roxxas is going to blow up or fuck up everything and then come and kill them. Or, I mean, they're rightly worried because they fucked up real bad. These two guys.
This seems like another page where they're attempting to spell out and dumb down the series a little bit. They've been telegraphing this for a while now.
Wait, telegraphing what?
Their culpability. Like, this feels like over-explaining to me. Just in case the reader missed it, because he said they're going to make an effort to make it more understandable.
Yeah, this is the exact same thing these guys said a few issues ago. They're just like these two dudes talking and saying, I think you goofed when you hired Roxxas. He's going to expose us. And it's just a reiteration of that page. Only instead of in an office, they're in a slimy sauna sludge pit.
Mm-hmm.
Alien, the spaceship from Alien. And this is another recap page that we already had a few issues ago with the green light going through space. This time they take a shot at it. Somebody decides to shoot it. Must be getting near Earth. Somebody decided they're just going to shoot it and see what happens. And it disappears. What in hell are we dealing with, they say. Nobody knows what that is.
Yeah, I wish it would stay that way.
And here the ultimate hilarity part, the real capper button on this all comedy issue, the return of Matter Eater Lad and Calorie Queen.
And Calorie Queen.
I don't know when the last time we saw Calorie Queen was.
Did she ever show up after wasn't she part of that League of Rejects?
Yeah, she was a super reject. And she has the Bismolian eats anything power, just like Matter Eater Lad has, but she also has super strength. So she's really a better candidate for the Legion than Matter Eater Lad is.
Yeah, why did she get kicked? Why did they dismiss her? Hadn't he left the team by then anyway?
I don't know. He must have been on the team. Like that's the only reason they could have rejected her, unless they just didn't need an eater person on their team anymore.
Right.
Like, I wonder if that ever happens, that, like, you know, they've got these clowns, Matter Eater Lad, Bouncing Boy, you know, like they've admitted them to the team. And then as some time goes on, like, yeah, you're bouncing. It was good for one time. You kind of served your purpose. Like, we would never admit another Bouncing Boy person to the team. Like, it's just a power we would never need again. You know what I mean? And so, like, if Bouncing Boy quits, he did quit.
This is blasphemy, but okay.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, Bouncing Boy Jr. comes and tries out for the team because Bouncing Boy #1 finally quit. They're not going to be like, "Whoa, it's so great that you applied because we need a Bouncing Boy."
But he can split into 3 balls.
Okay, you're right.
I don't know.
You know, like, oh, this guy, he doesn't get grounded, so you can't electrocute him. Perfect for this adventure when we're fighting Lightning Lord or whatever. He's on the team now. He'll come over. But yeah, as time goes on, they might have realized that he should just be a reserve member of the team or something.
Did you watch the cartoon? He's awesome in that.
What, he flies the ship better or something than the other people?
No, he's a member of the team. They only have like 5 or 6 guys, and he's one of them.
Yeah, what could he possibly do?
What do you mean? He bounces around. He knocks guys over and shit.
Okay. All right.
You have a bunch of bad guys coming down the corridor. He can just like bounce around and knock them all over. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, sure. You can't take out guys with the heat vision or super strength or anything, huh?
What now?
It's been a while since I watched the cartoon.
We'll have to revisit that someday.
They tease Matter Eater Lad's reappearance. He's wearing a flannel shirt. He kind of looks like he's kind of a workman or something in this.
Yeah, the flannel shirt's a weird choice.
Yeah, once they develop him a little more, he doesn't seem like a flannel shirt guy anymore.
I mean, are there any flannel shirt guys in this feature? I wonder if it's like some kind of like inking It was misinterpreted. It was probably meant to be some ruffly shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, like the dude that Roxxas is disguised as, the Blink-182 guy, he's a flannel shirt guy when he's off duty. He plays with his band Pearl Jam 3000.
I guess they could have been going for that. That was starting to get cool around this time, and they're trying to make him into a cool character. Because he's got like the sunglasses.
Yeah, he's like a shades guy. This, what do they call it? Venturan walking money. This has been in other comics, I think, in other Legion books, but it's really weird. It's like little disc-shaped people with humanoid legs, and they're kind of muscly legs. And I guess they just follow you around. It's your money.
You like shove them into vending machines.
It's not negotiable on Earth, so you wouldn't see too much of it on Earth. But on Ventura, maybe the Taurus gang uses this stuff or something. But yeah, Matter Eater Lad is going to Earth. And I think next issue is the all Matter Eater Lad humor issue.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to the Lightning Ring plantation on Wyneth. He's going to Earth for an archaeological dig.
Right, because he's got like a Mutual of Omaha, Wild America kind of thing, but it's like Mutual Abysmal.
Well, it's when Chameleon Boy's watching TV earlier, they show it.
Like yeah, they're watching it or a commercial for it.
Yeah. Wild Archaeology, the Titan Presidents of Bismol. And that's the episode he's making next issue, as I recall.
So, but is he's still a senator?
I don't know. I think he is. I think he's still a senator, and he has a reality TV show. Yeah, I don't know. I like issue 11. I remember thinking it was very funny, so I'm eager to reread it.
Me too.
Text page. This is the article of the Daily Planet that links EarthGov to the Dominators, written by Iris West and Devlin Orion. Iris West is Barry Allen's wife or something, right?
That's correct. She is the Tornado Twins' mother.
Okay. No. But aren't they? They're Dawn and Dawn Allen, right?
Mm-hmm. They are.
What's the relationship between Iris West and Wally West, the Flash 2?
Some of this has probably been changed 10 times over in the newer comics, but she's his older sister.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so.
I thought she was his mom or something.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe not. Maybe she's his aunt.
Yeah, I thought Wally West was Barry Allen's nephew, not his kid brother or brother-in-law.
Yeah. So she's his aunt. It's got to be it, right?
Yeah. Well, how did she wind up in the future?
In the Mark Waid stuff, she turns out to be kind of important. It's too complicated. I can't remember. At some point, they tried to say she was from the future originally. And she got transported back to the past and like raised in the present. But then maybe her parents from the future she died in the 80s comic, in the early 80s. And the Flash got remarried. Oh, Professor Zoom, I think, killed her. And then the Flash got remarried. And then that one, I think Professor Zoom killed her too. But then it turned out Iris West was still alive. Like her parents were from the future and they took her back to the 30th century and used their future technology and resurrected her or something like that.
Wow.
And then Barry went to live in the 30th century with her until Crisis happened. Then he had to leave and die. They had kids before he left, and those are the Tornado Twins. And then they each have a speedster kid themselves.
Oh, right. Yeah. Impulse is one of them, and Excess.
Yeah.
I mean, the first text page, it kind of just is about, they bring up this guy, Marco Chang. We talked about him last week. He's this Legion-hating, crooked politician. And we
talked about him last week?
Yeah, because the letters page of 240 was talking about 235. And the story in 235 is a Marco Chang story where he blames the Legion for letting his son die. But so Marco Chang
He's bankrolling Roxxas?
Something like that. Roxxas is using Marco Chang's bank account, and EarthGov is putting money into that account, and Roxxas is getting it. It almost doesn't even sound like... It sounds like Marco Chang might even be dead or something.
Right.
They're just... He just still has a bank account, and Roxxas has
a way of laundering the money.
Yeah. But it does still sound like Marco Chang remains a piece of shit. Whether he's alive or dead. But they just kind of give a rundown of the series of events that allows EarthGov to hire dudes like Roxxas to go kill people, and that they know that Roxxas killed Block, but the government of Earth denies that there's real evidence to that effect.
I like that he's the financer of the anti-coon group, the Coalition for Humanoid Preservation. It's like a future version of like the Oath Keepers, or like some sort of white replacement.
Yeah, he's definitely a nationalist or something like that.
Sounds like a great guy.
He was a piece of shit and had a bad haircut for sure. But that's about all that is. That's the story that the whole world read and getting clued in to the idea that the government of Earth is being controlled by people from another planet.
So presumably this is before, this is an old article.
I think so. Like we talked about it one day and you were like, why didn't they put that? Like they allude to this very damning article throughout the issue. And you were like, why didn't they print the issue? Instead, they printed something else. They printed somebody's recipes on the little Omnicom thing.
Right.
And we couldn't figure out if maybe that article hadn't been written, like maybe Devlin Orion is on the beat right now writing that, or what. But I think, yeah, it was supposed to have already been written, and they just waited until, the authors of this comic just waited until issue 10 to show it to us for whatever purpose. And then this last page, it gives the rundown, we mentioned it before, of Lightning Lord Mectrans, the therapy that he goes through to be rehabilitated at the prison planet Labyrinth. Last time we saw him, he was freed from Labyrinth by the Luck Lords. He got defeated by Lightning Lad, sent back to Labyrinth, and there was no more Luck Lord interference, so he had to go through therapy.
You have your guidebook. Do we know when issue 35 happened?
It looks like it must be 2988.
Okay.
Well, wait. No, June 20, 2989. Magnetic Kid is killed in the Magic Wars.
Well, I was trying to figure out, is this like basically right after issue 35?
Oh, yeah. It says February 2989.
Is Superboy already dead? Have they fought Glorith yet?
February 2988, Brainiac 5 is tried for the attack on Glorith, or tried for insubordination.
Okay, so this is maybe like a year after, if everything lined up about the same after the reboot.
Yeah, just 6 months, 4 months, 5 months before the Magic Wars. Well, see, in the Baxter comics, 45 was when they arrested Lightning Lord. And then the Magic Wars was in 60, but I guess that maybe only amounts to 5 or 6 months of comic book time. I guess that sounds about right. Whereas for us, it's 15 months.
I feel like this is one of the better pages, supplemental. It doesn't really add. There's nothing particularly innovative about it. We're just seeing like his diary, but it feels like a complete story in of itself. Maybe more so than the issue.
Yeah, in a way, like, yeah, it kind of details him at first being resistant, and then starts to be on the road to recovery, and then there's a relapse,
right?
And then he gets all kind of fixed up, and then they have their the reunion between the two brothers where they begin to patch things up, and then he's released to live with Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, I guess. Yeah, it gets all fixed up, neat and tidy.
The system works. He's rehabilitated.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange that in this they're using actual like psychiatric type of therapy, and they're not using the crutch of psychocare or mentotherapy or whatever that they've alluded to in like Silver Age comics, where they basically brainwash people. They actually put him on a type of therapy that lasts for 4 years, you know?
I guess you're right. I guess I assumed he was still getting the treatments, but this was like a more holistic approach that would make that seem more justifiable. Like,
oh, like you think he's seeing a therapist, like the giant slug thing that we saw in issue 45, alongside of being having whatever electricity or
like they're not just giving him shock therapy or whatever.
Yeah.
They're also giving him traditional therapy counseling along with it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound nearly as fucked up as just putting him in a machine. It's more like just like shock therapy really is.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we've heard about that other stuff, it's something that doesn't take long. Like, it doesn't take 800 days to do mentotherapy or psychotherapy. I mean, they imply that, like, it's outpatient type of shit or something.
Yeah, and this sounds like a more voluntary, like he has to be on board with this and cooperate for it to work. It isn't just, let's put the probe on the villain and against his will turns him into a good guy, kind of.
Yeah, it's like they talk to him until he makes the choice to start getting rehabilitated or something.
Right. And it's like multiple treatments that aren't necessarily automatically converting, just helping him along, I suppose.
Right. Yeah, and he gets to a point where he's good enough that they send him to the honor farm or whatever, and he has a little job that he's forced to do, but he also gets the privilege of doing.
Right.
Like he's working in the laundry room or the wood shop,
making license plates with his electricity.
Well, they probably have a very useful function that he can use. That he does electroplating. He probably gets to put the gold finish on statues of dead legionnaires in prison.
Nice.
But it says checkups. His last step is that he gets paroled into the custody of Garth and Emma Rands. And then he has 90 checkups at 90-day intervals for a period of 1 year. So he has 4 checkups, and then he's done. He's all cured after 4 little hearings, I guess. Doesn't sound too bad, especially when you think about all the people that Lightning Lord must have killed and all the crimes he was involved in, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I bet there's people out there who are mad. Like, I would want to write a story where like a victim's brother comes seeking revenge against Lightning Lord. Somebody otherwise good person got murdered by Lightning Lord. Now he's out there.
Did he kill anybody?
What? That's all he does is kill people, right?
Really?
I'm sure.
I don't know. He just like rob future banks.
Well, the Legion of Supervillains that showed up in 60s Superman comics. Yeah, I bet they didn't kill too many people. But when you're getting into the Legion of Supervillains from the first few issues of Baxter series and stuff, that's all they were doing is murdering people. That was the whole reason they existed, was to murder Legionnaires and just whoever got in the way.
Douchebags. Who was the leader? Who was the leader that time around?
Of what? The new supervillains?
Was it Nemesis Kid?
I think it was Nemesis Kid was the brains behind that thing. But they worshipped Mordru or Satan or something. It was some kind of weird cultish stuff. And actually, they say he worshipped Mordru in this. That Lightning Lord was a Mordru worshiper. And that's part of what made him so evil. Or made him go around the bend so much.
Sort of like Satan worshipping if Satan was real. Like,
yeah.
You could actually have some negative effect on you, like make you more evil.
Yeah. Weird. That's kind of an interesting idea. What if Satan was real and you could worship him instead of just worshiping an unreal thing and it's totally silly?
Instead of being forced to vote for him next November.
Oh, jeez. You want us to wind this up?
We better call it. Everything that's coming out of my mouth is horribly stupid. I know I'm going to be hitting myself in the head tomorrow when I wake up and think about that weird Iris Allen thing I went on. I couldn't even explain it.
Oh, that was Legion number 10. Rip McTrans. You got killed this issue, dude.
Yeah. R.I.P. Reap Daggle.
Yep, he got killed. Bounty, dead. You got struck.
Thunderstruck.
LLL.
Long live the Legion.
Okay, dude, you can go home. It's Silver Ale time.